Welcome to another exciting episode of the WDWpov live stream show.
So exciting.
You are exciting? Are you exciting or excited?
I said it's so exciting.
Oh, there's a rabbit outside our window right there. We're looking at a rabbit outside of our window, eating little blades of grass and, all kind of stuff. Oh my goodness, we didn't even set the mic up yet. I didn't turn the lights on.
There's a fox hiding out in the bushes right over there. Laying low.
Is he laying low? The fox is laying low.
Uh-huh.
Is that Brer Rabbit? It could be Brer Rabbit. I'm not sure. I got to turn some lights on.
We can't see you.
Can't see us. I gotcha. Thank you, Mary. It's one of those goofy things I've got here. Give me 1 second. We'll take care of that. I appreciate that. I'm looking at one screen that you can see us, not that screen where you can't see us, but now you can see us. Well, at least, see now here, look, they can see you. They can't see me.
They can see me twice.
Yeah, look at that. You're like side by side. Put your head right next to it. Go ahead. Move it over a little. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Now we can see both of us.
It's Briar. Anthony says it's Briar Rabbit, Jeff.
It could be. He's just sitting right out there. He's taunting us. He's just taunting us.
Oh,
What's that? Well, I could see Marcus, and that was, whoa, kind of bad. Wow, Mary. I know. She couldn't see me. Look, I can't see me again. Look, I'm blocking myself. Anyway, welcome to the WDWpov live stream show. This is all crooked. This is like all out of whack. I really didn't set the camera up very good tonight. Let me turn some lights on for you. There's one. You gonna get that one for us? All right. Now we've got our studio lights on. We're just completely discombobulated. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Mary says, one Marcus is enough for me. Didn't need two. Now he's blocking himself. There we go. Now he's back. Anyway, welcome to the WDWpov live stream show. It is, what is today? The 29th?
Yep.
Is it really June 29th?
Yep.
Is it really the end of the month? Are we almost halfway through the year? Wow.
2020 just went by somehow.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Need more of the mic too. You are shifted and a little fuzzy.
Shifted and a little fuzzy. I see one. I see more of the mic too. Yeah. You're shifted and a little fuzzy. Yeah. I mean, sometimes we do like to show the mic just for fun. But let's try this. This is sort of how I usually have it.
There, you're centered more.
Is that a little better? There we go. That's a little more like what we usually do. Well, you know what? I still think that there's a slight. I don't think StreamYard
is the best.
Is as high definition as when we do our OBS Studio Direct. OBS Studio can do 4K video. StreamYard, not so much. I think it does 720, and that's the max. So sometimes it does get a little fuzzy. And you know what else is probably a problem? I didn't shut down the PC upstairs that's also doing some stuff, which could be sucking up some of our video bandwidth. So I could stop that temporarily. I could be back in just a moment. Steve says, looks fine to me from the beginning. Always, Steve, you have the best view in the house, I think. It's always same, no matter how bad our internet is. You've got the same view, and that's the interesting thing, because our site is Walt Disney World point of view, WDWpov, and we're always looking for everybody's point of view. We're always asking for people to give us, what their views are on Disney and related things. And Steve's got a very, very unique point of view. So I'm always interested.
Good thing we had him on the show.
Yeah, and I think, and we will do another show like that we did a few weeks ago.
So should we
where we invite
this?
Yeah, let's change that. Well, there you go. We'll do another one of those. Invite our live guests. As we go through the show.
Wait, We're just going to be stealing now that Disney's live.
No, actually, we're going to be
stealing that they stole from us.
Right. We're going to be retaking back
our show about nothing.
A show about nothing, but it may not be a show about nothing that night. But it'll still be like us doing live people on the show that will make our live point of viewers guests on the show. But tonight is going to be a little different. Tonight is going to be a unique show. I mean, we're
probably the only of its kind.
Yeah, I think so.
Truly earning itself the name of LSOT.
LSOT.
Experimental live stream show of tomorrow.
That's right. Or I call it Epcot, Experimental Podcast of Tomorrow. Even though we're not technically a podcast because we haven't been posting the audio only to a podcast.
Which you kind of lose a lot when you do the audio only of this show.
Well, and that's why I like to do some things. Like if somebody actually says something in the chat, I like to repeat it, or I'll say, oh, so-and-so said this and so-and-so said that. That way when it, if, and I keep thinking in the back of my head, one day I'll be doing these on a podcast.
I'm also saying you lose stuff like me sitting here doing nothing for about 10 minutes, giving you weird looks.
Some of our looks, yeah, you would lose the odd looks and our odd looking faces in translation on a podcast.
Steve might be getting the better end of that deal, not having to look at my face for that long.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, if you haven't already, we did our 5-minute countdown from 7:55 to 8 o'clock.
That was not intentional.
He's slurping his drink. Go ahead and, share the show with your friends and your Disney buddies and all that good stuff. He's still slurping his drink. He's still slurping.
There's a lot of ice in here.
Yeah, and that's grape juice. I love grape juice. Is that rabbit still out there? Is Brer Rabbit still sitting out there? And he looks like he ran away. He went back to the briar patch.
We don't have any briars around.
Well, you see that tree that fell down over there?
Yeah.
That's his briar patch.
I'm glad I kept
What's that? Where do I go? We got to rearrange your stuff because tonight, what's Anthony saying? Anthony says, I'm glad I kept my Ziploc Splash Mountain baggies. They're worth $100 on eBay.
Is that $100 each?
Are you being serious? I mean,
package?
I don't doubt it, Anthony, but is
that each or for the whole package?
Here, I got to get another chair. So you're going to have to slide in. We actually have the three of us on tonight. Is that crazy?
I am the resident researcher.
I thought I was the resident researcher.
I'm gonna go.
I'm joking.
I'm gonna go to our regular live stream show. There we go. So now I got that off. But if you get a chance, share this.
Steve shares it out to his enemies. But how many enemies does he even have?
Steve, that's what I like to see. I like to see the show get, because if you don't like the show and you want to torture somebody, that's
here comes Mary with her research.
A little bit. I think she missed the T.
Whoa. That's okay.
Anthony is serious about the $100
on eBay. But
is it per Ziploc bag or for the whole package?
I don't know. We'll find out. Give us the details, Anthony. Is it? Is that basically one bag, one actual Ziploc bag with Splash Mountain as the logo is worth $100? If it is, that's amazing.
Let's just say my name is Patty. Just so everyone knows. We're
going to get our chairs set up here. Hold on one second.
Patty, the homeschool mom.
Harry. Okay, you got to slide over.
Are we all going to fit in here?
You're going to get in the middle.
I'm going to get in the middle.
You got to get in the middle.
Okay. Where do I put my notes and everything?
You don't get notes.
Okay, so I start.
She has her own song.
So
he has 10 bags. You still haven't answered the "is it per bag" question, Anthony.
Okay.
No, if he said 10 bags.
Where's the other book?
Oh, so it's only $10 for a bag?
That's still pretty good.
That's not worth it.
I'm going to do one other thing here. I got to change.
The better half is on the show tonight.
Yes, she is.
Okay, so I am going. Stop! I'm just starting because I got a lot to cover.
Hold on. I got to change a mic setting here.
Yeah. My hair's crazy today. I still haven't gotten a haircut. I talk about this periodically on my Facebook Live with Jack. Haven't gotten a haircut. I am so thrilled you're all here to see us. So. Splash.
Wait, give us a second.
No, I'm just getting ready to.
Give us a second. She just doesn't give us a chance to do anything.
$20 a bag.
Okay, so we didn't even do a welcome. Welcome to the WDWpov live stream show. We already said it's June 29th.
It's $20 a bag.
$20 a bag.
So that's $200.
That's not
if he
bad.
has 10.
Okay, so here's the deal. Tonight, we're going to be talking about
All things Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain,
That means-
Song of the South, which is the movie that Splash Mountain is based on. But we're going to be talking about where Song of the South came from. What prompted Walt to make that, and the actual stories behind, and where those stories came from, how they came to be written in a book. And so we're excited because I love history.
Well, and here's the thing. Okay, so we just to give a little background, I think everybody on the show who's watching knows that Disney made, or at least announced, that they are going to be changing over the Splash Mountain theming from a very loose interpretation of Song of the South, because it is just the animated characters. Doesn't really talk about the story at all.
It's not even one full story. It's like three of them pushed together.
Yeah, but we're going to be talking about some of the details that really are behind the scenes with Splash Mountain / Song of the South and Uncle Remus.
And the making of Song of the South, I get into some of that just a little bit.
And we feel that this is important because, we understand they're changing the ride. We get that. They're going to be, doing a
And they're not going to listen to us.
Yeah, they're not listening to us anyway. So
After this, probably not at all.
and in fact, they're probably we'll be banned, from life. No,
I don't know. Why would we do that?
We're
not
want
saying
to
anything.
we want to talk about the history.
Yes, and we talk about Walt in a very nice light.
And we're going to try and present as many sides of this story as we can. Okay. We want to try and get as much of it out as we can.
In a positive light.
In a very positive light, but we're going to try and present this in a very even keel way. We're not, looking for, just go ahead.
Okay.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
Okay. So the complete tales of Uncle Remus.
Okay.
Uncle Remus. So this book was put together in 1955 by Richard Chase. He is not the original author. Joel Chandler Harris is the author of the Uncle Remus stories. Joel, I want to start with, just so you see, the setting is 1955 when these tales are put together in this book. In these confusing times, 1955.
Nevaeh did say hi to you.
Hi, Nevaeh. It is good to renew an acquaintance with things that endure. This is an age of cultural confusion. Identity of race and race tradition is a treasure that all Americans, white or black or red, can keep in spite of the bewildering cross currents of lore and learning in our modern age. This identity, this integrity is important. Not that we can ever shed ourselves in watertight cultural compartments. Traditions and separate cultures overlap always and everywhere in the ways of all races and nations.
And again, this is 1955.
This is in 1955 when they were compiling this.
Right.
These short stories that had already been written. So here's my question for you. If we pretend that something doesn't exist, does that make it disappear?
No.
We live in the age of the
We
internet.
know that they've been hiding in the vault, Song of the South. It's still there. We know it's there. And we actually have a copy ourselves.
A DVD copy.
A DVD copy.
It's a real DVD copy, not bootleg.
Not a bootleg. It's a real DVD copy.
It's got bonus features on it.
It is being produced in other countries.
Like Europe?
I don't know where.
Doesn't
I don't
a
know
couple
for
countries
sure.
in Europe have it on Disney Plus?
I don't know. That would be nice to find out.
Don't
Somebody, Mary, can you find that out?
That may be even too tough for Mary to figure out.
So what we're going to talk about today is, so Disney announces that they're reimagineering Splash Mountain, but we're going to look at where it all came from. So the movie is based on the tales of Uncle Remus that were written by Joel Chandler Harris.
But where did that come from?
Okay, so Harris, these are important things to know before we go.
She's got 100-page dissertation.
I do, 100-page dissertation. Actually, I have even more. I'm not going through all of this, but I did do a blog post today. It's only 2,100 words.
Only.
And I don't even get into the review of the movie in those 2,100 words. So the movie is based on the Tales of Uncle Remus by Joel Chandler Harris. Harris was born to a single woman. I did not put the dates. It's sometime in the 1800s.
Right. If they want to know, they'll look it up.
Not much is known about his father other than his father was Irish. Okay, so now I want you to remember this. Joel Chandler Harris didn't have a father figure. So when he was 16, he went to work as an apprentice at a weekly paper called The Countryman, which was located, he was born in Georgia, and he goes to this, it was a plantation, well, it was a 1,000-acre plantation. Is that small? I don't know.
I don't know based on historical background. I mean, we're living on 5 acres.
Yeah.
Your parents had 40 acres.
Yeah.
So that puts it into perspective.
But I know, okay.
It's big, but I don't think it was like a huge plantation for the time. It was probably
okay. So
medium,
Mary says
I don't know.
it's not anywhere that she can tell on Disney Plus. Okay. So Stan Sola, where are you?
I think a lot of people are probably steering clear of tonight's
I
episode.
thought Stan would be here.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
nobody wants to educate themselves.
Ooh, you're calling them out here.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
So he lives on this plantation as he goes as 16 to work on the weekly newspaper that is being produced on the plantation. And he works for room, board, and food. He's not being paid. He's an apprentice, which is common at the time.
Yeah.
On that plantation, he develops a relationship with some of the slaves.
And
Here's
this was what year again? This is like early 18.
In about 1862.
Okay. So we're getting toward
yes,
abolition period. We're almost there. Fortunately.
So he's working on this plantation as an apprentice to the man printing the paper. And he's listening to African-American animal stories told by
Hi, Laura.
George Terrell, Old Harbert, and Aunt Chrissy. And these later become his models for Uncle Remus, Aunt Tempe, and other figures in the animal tales.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One
So it's
older
not
gentleman,
What's that?
not
not
on the
anything on
UK
Disney
version.
Plus.
Okay, so where is it? The DVD is being sold somewhere.
Did you catch that? Hold on 1 second. Call him over. This is our friend from the southwest portion of Great Britain.
Okay.
And anyway, so he's saying it's not on the UK version either. So
Okay, I was given this as a gift, and I know that it did not originate in this country. That's all I know.
I can.
Okay.
When we go to the Uncle Remus Museum, we'll probably have to pick up a copy there.
Okay, so one older gentleman on the plantation that is believed Uncle Remus's pattern after. But so he's hearing stories from several of the slaves at that time on the plantation. And they are telling him the stories of Briar Fox, Briar Rabbit, Briar Bear, and Brer.
You got to say it right.
See, I'm sorry.
Brer Bear.
Okay.
We
The
had
book
actually
does
Brer Rabbit was actually out there outside our window before
The
the
book
show.
Yes, I heard
the book does refer to some people as brother
Okay.
rabbit, brother bear,
Oh,
Okay.
brother fox.
He even has
Okay.
some copies from the UK. So can you buy it in the UK? So while Harris is working
Possibly
there,
bootleg
the
copies.
slaves are freed. And the owner of the plantation offered his slaves some sharecropping jobs. Eventually, as the Union starts to come through,
The Union forces.
the
right?
Union troops, Joel Chandler Harris moves to Atlanta and takes a job at the newspaper Atlanta Constitution. As he's working there, now he's working for the Constitution, which is ironic. He's working for a paper called the Atlanta Constitution, but he is not free to just say whatever he wants.
No.
Ironically. But he is learning the trade and working. And in 1880, on his own, outside of the newspaper, he publishes the first volume entitled Uncle Remus, His Songs and His Sayings. And through his life, he published 6 more volumes. So those 6 volumes then end up becoming, in 1955,
And this is a thick book.
Yes.
I mean, this is not.
They're very short, though.
But there are a lot of short stories, a lot of
Yes.
short tales. But
some about no tales.
Okay, so when he retires, he ends up retiring from the newspaper in
How can there be a
1900s.
tale where there ain't no tale?
And he now considers himself free
yeah, now keep
from
in
the
mind,
newspaper grinds.
right? So up to this point, his writings in the newspaper had to be basically what the newspaper wanted,
Yes.
which were basically, sympathetic to the South and what sympathetic
Yes.
to slavery,
Yes.
sympathetic to all those things, which in his heart he didn't
Okay, so
want to do. But
so he actively promoted socioeconomic, sectional, and racial reconciliation. That's what he. So here is this boy born without a father figure. He was working as an apprentice, and these black slaves become like a father figure to him. In 1905, he publishes Told by Uncle Remus, News Stories of the Old Plantation. In that book, Uncle Remus is telling his tales to the son of a little boy from the first book. Okay, so you get, okay.
Yeah.
So this Uncle Remus, who never ages, wouldn't that be great? Never ages. Is now telling it. Song of the South will not be appearing on the Disney Plus streaming service, even with an outdated cultural depictions disclaimer.
Yeah,
I know. Okay.
which they've been doing a lot. We've noticed that on a lot of TV shows. They'll say, outdated cultural depictions and things like that.
Okay. So now we know where the tales came from. We know that Joel Chandler Harris, he's a white man. He's committed to preserving the tales of the blacks that he encountered while he was working on this plantation. And he wanted to preserve them, not just the stories, but the dialect too.
So he had to write all of this in that.
Yes.
So
which is
we
a very hard dialect.
If you want to read it,
Hey,
that's one thing. If you have to write all that down, that's another.
Yes.
Right.
But he was listening to them. So now people have said,
Annette from the Jersey
hi,
Shore.
Annette.
I just like to acknowledge. I always like to say hi, Annette.
And
from
you know
the
what?
Jersey
If you
Shore.
have questions, feel free to ask. If I don't have them, our resident.
We don't just have to talk about where Song of the South is available and won't be available for ridiculous reasons.
Okay,
But I mean, we're still just scratching the surface.
Column says that Bob Iger confirmed that. Now, Bob Iger has also, and I can't remember where I read
Didn't
this.
they once say
it was
that
an article. He said
all Disney movies will be?
No.
Who said that?
Yes, they may have. But Bob Iger was quoted as saying that as CEO, he was free to, and he listed, he was able to do, and one of them was watch Song of the South anytime he wanted.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
okay.
he has access to that.
Yes.
What?
So
Kind of
okay.
hypocritical.
So we're getting into a little controversy right here.
Yeah, and
this wasn't controversial.
And again, please bear with us. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna try and tell as many sides of the story as we possibly can. But we do appreciate you guys commenting.
So-
let's keep it let's make sure we keep it Disney friendly,
they're
family
gonna keep
friendly.
it Disney
I know the audience we have here.
Yeah, they're awesome. We have an awesome audience.
I just
So
want to make
Kim,
sure
pull up Kim's the author. Now we had gone through this, but Kim is saying the author had a hard life. He was an outcast. He actually said he was lonely and friendless or something, and he's working on this plantation.
Mhm.
And he never knew his father, and there's nothing that has ever been found about his father.
Right.
So there's no written record of him having a father. Okay, so people have said,
Well, he had a father.
okay, so
He had to come from somewhere.
Yes, Ellis Walker, Ellis Walker is the author of The Color Purple. She had accused in the probably 1980s, accused Harris of stealing the stories.
Wasn't he dead at that point?
Yes, so he's not there.
So you can't accuse someone
Yes,
of something
you
after
could.
they're
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah, you could.
really.
Yeah.
Okay, but
They can't get
consider
punished
this.
after.
Now,
But you can't
this is
defend
a
yourself.
quote, and in the article that I've written, I put all my sources with all the quotes. Okay, Joel Chandler Harris didn't steal all Ellis Walker's inheritance. It was given to him, and it was given to him as it was given to her, orally, by older people with lessons to teach speaking to younger people with lessons to learn. It's the closest thing that he had to inheritance of his own. Now, I will go further and say, if he stole them, then we would say the Brothers Grimm, Hans Christian Andersen, Aesop stole all their stories.
Because they were basically a collection of stories gathered orally,
Yes.
put into a book, and
the 1001 Nights, Arabian Nights.
The whole,
that's a collection of oral
So
stories.
whoever wrote that stole it.
so the whole,
Yes.
the whole genie in the bottle, and
So
all that stuff.
I'd love your thoughts on that. Did he steal these stories? If he took stories that were not previously written,
They
and
didn't
he's
have to tell
never
them all of
said
these.
he never said I made these stories up.
No.
So-
And he was doing it, especially at this point in his life. He was trying to do it
Because
for
it-
reconciliation between the races.
And
Well,
this was
you're
a different time
Getting
period.
ahead of yourselves.
Well, I
This
thought you
was-
already said something about
No.
This was
Okay,
also
let's see. There are a lot of
Just-
stolen stories, if so. Correct.
there's also this was a different time. Not everything was written down yet. Not everything was on the internet.
that. Right.
Where you can find it right away.
Copywriting and things like that was not like it is today. you know.
Okay. So
But true, though. I mean,
Speaking of which,
but true.
2039.
most of the
2039, we're pouncing.
2039, if Disney
Don't say it.
no,
Then everyone will know.
then everyone will pounce on
No,
2039.
2039. Look up what happens in the year 2039 with Song of
Copyright
Songs.
wise.
Unless they go to
Unless it's released.
unless they go to Congress and spend money to get copyright laws changed again.
That's true. They
That's
could do
true.
that.
That's
They
true.
always
It's been
do.
done before. It's been done
Steamboat
before.
Willie almost fell. into
Okay.
it.
That's
So-
right.
So after Joel Chandler Harris retired, he dedicated his life to healing the racial divide.
Mhm.
Now you know, right, he's living in the South right after,
Living in the South, just after slavery is abolished.
and so there was a lot of racial
Yeah.
unrest.
I mean,
Okay.
you think we've got problems today
Yeah.
with trying to speak out against racism? Imagine what this guy was doing back then. I mean, he probably had a target painted on him for even thinking about trying to bring racial reconciliation.
So in a 1905 letter to Andrew Carnegie, basically says, Harris states, the only ambition that I have ever had, the only line of policy that I have ever mapped out in my own mind is to finally dissipate all ill feelings and prejudices that now exist between the races. So we're going to get into what the stories are really about, but
I'm sorry, but I'm getting teary-eyed just from you reading that.
because here's a man
Because-
that dedicated his life and then was accused of being racist and accused of stealing, and he was just trying to help.
Much like
He had-
Abraham Lincoln now.
And he did not. They said he could have toured the country with a book, promoting the book, but that's not where his heart was. So
Then he really would have
he
been
then
capitalizing off of this
went.
in some way.
Yes, he then went and founded the Uncle Remus magazine, and it was to encourage the obliteration of prejudice against the blacks, the demand for a square deal, and the uplifting of both races so that they could look justice in the face without blushing. And it's what he could never do while he was working for the newspaper, and that's what he attempted to do through the stories. So in 1955, the book was put together, the complete tales, which were different volumes. So, and there's 185 tales.
And again, based off of stories that had been handed down generation after generation, until the mid to late 1800s,
Yes.
basically. Yeah.
So where did these stories come from? So we now
She's
know.
going to tell you.
I am going to tell you.
Here, I'll do
We-
the two-finger point. She's going to tell you. There's a Disney
We
point.
now know in probably 1950 or even 30 years ago, they weren't really sure some origins of the stories because we didn't have the research and the knowledge of how stories spread. And I mean, we have made such great strides in the past probably 2-3 decades in
Or at least a couple of months.
A couple of months. Okay. So we know the stories have their origins in Africa. However, some of the stories were they weren't centered around a rabbit. Now, they do have stories from Africa about a rabbit, but some of them are centered around a spider. And they could find
Rare spider.
They could find this Annecy the spider. They found stories very similar with this spider that were similar to the concepts told with the fox and a bear. And so when he originally was writing the stories, he had no clue where they came from. But he could not know that they were authentic African folklore. He just knew that they were being told on the plantations.
He's trying to knock over our whole table here.
So I found that interesting and I did read, and I didn't put this in the article. I did read that when they're researching, they're finding very similar stories in South America and Egypt. I mean, they're finding them like all across the globe.
Yeah. Very
similar stories.
Well, so because they were stories basically to teach, a lot of times teach the young, how to be an honorable person, how to avoid trouble,
Brer Rabbit wasn't about being an honorable person. He was about tricking people.
Yeah, someone was trying to eat him.
But it was basically how to get out of trouble, how to be smart, how to be cunning, So yeah.
Okay, so
there's some cool stories.
So we're going to talk about the characters.
Yeah, I read
themselves.
an especially interesting one earlier.
So I misspelled that word.
What'd you do?
When people hear the names of the tales of the animals. Okay, so if you hear, name some of the animals.
Well, we know Brer Fox, Brer Rabbit, Brer Bear.
Brer Possum, Brer Coon.
There's a turtle. I can't remember what his name is,
but
he has a name.
You hear them, you immediately think of...
Frog. Yeah, you got the frog.
Brer Toad? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, you think of Splash Mountain. You don't think of Joel Chandler Harris.
No.
You might, if you're of the right age, you might think of Song of the South, but you would never think of Joel Chandler Harris. And when you hear the names of these animals, a lot of people immediately think racism. They don't know that the story behind.
Whoa, okay.
Ooh, Kim, let's see. I've read about the story and it's interesting with real accounts of the story itself.
She just blocked us completely off the screen.
Okay, so Kim says, go ahead.
Okay. So I've read about all the Disney. It's an interesting story with real accounts, and the story itself is rich with Black history. However, it doesn't belong in Disney. Put in school, read it to your kids. Let people read the history for themselves. But for a little African-American child being in Disney, they don't really need to be reminded of that time in a fun place. I relate it to my own son. If someone wrote a story about a kid in 1900 in a mental institution getting treated poorly. Okay, I see what you're saying. But befriended, and then it's
okay. But we could think of it in terms of the same could be true for pirate stories.
You say it doesn't belong in Disney.
Wait.
Pirate stories. The same could be said about pirate stories.
No, I just looked up earlier. Walt Disney's dedication speech to Disneyland is that it is built off the hard facts that built America. For the children to remember. It doesn't belong in Disney.
But again, I want to see everybody's point
of
view.
This is my rebuttal to that.
That's good. Because I want to absorb as much as I can from everybody's point of view. But what Marcus is saying, we did actually listen to. It was the original opening speech, because everybody keeps using the quote that he says, Disneyland is going to continue to grow and change.
And is never finished or whatever.
Never finished. But he also said, what was the line again? That
Disneyland is your land. Here lies fond memories of the past and
so on and so forth.
Challenges of the future. But it is built off of the hard facts that created America.
The hard facts, which again, Frontierland in general.
Slavery did not build America. Splash Mountain's not about slavery. It's about these stories.
Okay, so
that might have tie-ins with slavery, but they're not about slavery.
Well,
okay,
and
so
we'll get to this. We'll get to this shortly. But the stories actually are well. I don't want to steal your thunder. The stories are. Go ahead. I'll let you tell it.
So first of all, Harris is, instead of viewing that the stories are about slavery, the stories are about, Harris wrote them down to change generations' views. And he fought to end racism. Right. So what we know about these critters and the pages of them, okay, so they're more than just wildlife to entertain. There are white men and black men illustrated in these animals. So here I'm going to ask,
in the original illustrations, which were meant to be what?
Well, we'll ask that.
Well,
okay, so who represents?
They did change them in the movie more, so,
obviously,
but the original illustrations. You'll get to that right now, I guess.
So Brer Rabbit is a trickster who outwits the other animals. The bear and the fox actually represent the slave owner, the white man. And the rabbit represents the slave. Uncle Remus is telling stories and educating the slave owner's son. He's in essence teaching a younger generation to value, respect, and honor a race of people that may not have a voice. And the lesson that all the stories tell is that thinking outsmarts sheer strength. We know that Uncle Remus was the composite of the slaves that Harris encountered. And he was a lonely boy. He himself is in the book. He's the little white boy who learns the valuable lessons from the father figure.
Right.
So, depending on who you talk to, there are people who believe that these stories are racist, and there are people that believe that they're not. One story that, what?
Oh, she has the whole thing here. Okay, so
okay.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Your age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration.
That's important.
To all the world.
Yes.
And I get it. We're not trying to say that we need to teach some hard lessons while you're on a ride at Magic Kingdom. No, that's not. But we don't want to have the memory and the hard lessons that got us to this point forgotten. We don't want them to be forgotten because we don't want history to repeat itself. We want to build on these hard facts and these hard ideas and this knowledge. We don't want it to just be wiped out. We're well beyond a ride at this point. I mean,
Disney is going to change the ride.
We're beyond the fact that we don't. And I will say this from a personal standpoint: Splash Mountain is one of my top 5 rides at all of Disney. But this is, and Jack is probably going to have a hard time with the new ride because of some of the. Now they do say they're not going to have that evil character.
Yeah,
in it.
but
they're not going to have the voodoo.
They did say that.
No.
Well, it's going to be from the Kiss.
Yeah, but you don't know.
I know we don't.
There
know.
was,
but I don't want to. I don't want
doctor or whatever.
Doctor
in the swamp.
I don't want to get sidetracked on that, but
okay.
But we're well beyond the ride at this point. But we want Disney. Well, and you'll talk more about Walt Disney and how this whole thing plays into how this all happened as far as the movie. But we don't want Walt Disney's own words basically to be forgotten either. That there are some hard facts that built America. We want to build off of that. we don't want to forget it. We don't want to just throw it away and say, this didn't happen. Let's forget about it. And then 50 years from now, we're right back in some.
Okay. So after I will talk about what Walt did and coming up shortly. Some of the things that Walt did.
Sorry for getting emotional.
Some of the things that Walt did that people don't recognize, and I think that they do hide it a lot. They hide who Walt was. They want everyone to believe that Walt was this entertainer, and he was not an entertainer.
There was a lot more to him.
He was an innovator.
He had progressive thoughts to try and move things forward.
Good progressive thoughts, not bad progressive thoughts.
Okay.
Well, what was the term progressive? You had said something.
I don't know. I can't remember.
No.
The idea of slavery didn't build America. However, slaves built the monuments.
Well, and there's actually...
And some monuments they want to tear down were paid for by freed slaves.
Slaves
We're not getting this is not because this book is not about slavery. It's about it's stories. These are oral stories that slaves told. So this is stories of just like we read stories in any like Brother Grimm's stories. Some of the stories, the original story is Cinderella. Come on, my goodness.
Yeah. Well, some of those stories, thank goodness Walt helped to clean those up, because some of those Grimm fairy tales
that were stolen,
nasty.
Yes.
It's just complete. I mean, if you read those to your kids now as they were originally written, you'd be like, you'd be scared to death. Anyway, again, but the term was the author of the Uncle Remus tales that he put together. I think he was called a progressive conservative.
Yes, that's what it was.
Which you say that today, and it's like,
wait a second. Are you?
Here are the progressives. Here are the conservatives. This guy was a progressive conservative. That's almost like a contradiction in terms today.
That's not entirely true, though.
But that's what I'm saying. Apparently
you can be progressive with your thoughts and still have conservative values.
Okay.
True.
So
anyway, we're digressing.
Uncle Remus helps the little white boy understand concepts he wouldn't have learned in school or at the table with his own parents. The boy would not have been exposed to the humor, wit, and smarts.
This would also never be taught in school today.
Yes, this is true. It will not be taught in school.
And no one will want to teach it to their children.
And in many ways, Harris was a modern day activist. Looking backwards, we can see that he didn't get everything right, but he had the right motivations. And in many ways, most people would not have wanted, especially back then, they would not have wanted Black men to be telling stories to their child. Okay. And especially the quick-witted rabbit outsmarting the dumb fox.
Yeah.
So the dumb fox, he's not that dumb. He's just dumb enough to get outsmarted.
Right. but again, and this is what a lot of people don't realize is, again, the Brer Rabbit was representative of,
the Black man.
The Black people that were telling the stories. So I mean, if anything, I guess we should be offended because we're the ones who are getting outwitted in those stories. But they're funny. They're great stories. They're very. There's a lot.
They're
to
much
learn.
more creative than many things you'll see nowadays.
They're true. There's a lot to learn from these stories.
So there's many objections, and probably one of the biggest objections is the fact that slavery existed at all. The dialect used, the plantation, the practice of slavery. People who read the stories just think of this. The argument is that it makes it appear the slaves were happy, and so that was one of the arguments against it.
The movie or the book?
Both.
And was some of it probably portrayed in an idyllic fashion? Probably.
Well, the man who was writing them obviously
experienced firsthand.
That.
True, and it's interesting that he was working there with these people telling him the stories.
Yes.
So
okay, we're going to talk about so now you've heard the story of the Tales of Uncle Remus
we take a
and
quick
where
break?
they came from. You can take a quick break.
Take a quick break. One quick break. Gaston. This is like an intermission right here. This is the intermission.
That Gaston was not appropriate right there.
Sorry.
It's not appropriate during any of the episodes.
Okay. So we're going to talk about Walt Disney and the use of propaganda in films. Okay. So many people don't know that Walt used the films to further causes often. He produced propaganda films numerous times.
Still not appropriate.
What are you doing?
Kill the
I'm
beast.
in the middle of talking.
I know, but
Mary says Gaston's always appropriate.
T9 said kill the beast.
The
I had
whole
to do it.
point in history is for the future people to learn from whether it is good or bad history.
Very good.
So who here knows about Walt's film, propaganda film, Victory Through Air Power? Now, this is one of my favorite Walt productions of Walt. Now, many times Walt wanted to do something and he was told, don't do it. Don't do this. He was told not to, you said, open Disneyland.
Mm-hmm. Many people told him not to. And after he built it, people told him to give up after day one.
Okay. Well,
they told him not to make movies.
Mm-hmm.
So,
they told Walt a lot of stuff not to do, and he ignored them.
Even after he had built his company up and it was successful, his father still didn't quite understand what he was doing.
Now, Walt felt that this movie was important enough to make that he said, I'm going to do it, even though they were telling him not to. Why did he think that?
Let's think about this. He had opposition, that's for sure.
Many great ideas are not appreciated in their time.
Okay.
What?
Okay, we're Victory Through Air Power. Anyone know that movie?
We have it on DVD.
It tells about the production and how airplanes operate.
What was the man's name? I knew it's on the top of my head.
It's a Russian name.
Alexander. Is it Alexander?
Ends with something ski.
No.
Is it in the family room? Is it sitting out?
I don't know where it is. Okay, so Victory Through Air Power. Walt worked to produce this film to convince Roosevelt and Churchill to use airplanes to fight World War II.
Oh, something Mary doesn't know about, finally.
Okay. So Victory Through Air Power, when we watched it, there's also packaged with that movie, which was not at the time, a lot of the Donald Duck
propaganda.
Alexander D. Seversky.
You're welcome, Mary.
Alexander Seversky was the guy's name.
Okay, so he wrote this book, which I would love to read. I want to get my hands on a copy and read the book. But Alexander D. Seversky is actually introduces the film.
Yeah, he narrates it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when they were done producing the film, Walt sent a copy to Churchill and Roosevelt for them to watch. And after watching Walt's film, the Allies began to change their war strategy. Now, war is a horrible subject.
I've been reading tons about it. I've been reading tons about it.
Why would Walt produce a film about war?
Because he was hoping that it would help end the war quicker.
Okay.
He was dealing with Roosevelt and Churchill. They were going to drag the war out for as long as possible.
Okay.
That's another topic. This isn't,
Okay, so Walt again uses propaganda films to further the space race. In documentaries like, Was it
Man in Space?
Man in Space. There may be one, Mission to Mars. There's several of them. He explores rocketry, the push for missions to space, and he's doing it at a time where they had to have been looking at him saying, "You are out of your mind."
Yeah. And he had the leading experts.
This is in
these fields.
Yeah.
Von Braun.
Von Braun. Thank you.
Yeah, but this is in the 1950s. He's doing this in the 1950s.
Yeah, but he was trying to mold a better world. He was. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, Walt Disney was
Disney
trying to help
Studios
mold a
were
better
converted
world.
into a propaganda machine at that point.
At that point, yes.
But even
For
in
space travel of all things.
but even in his films like The Three Caballeros and
Caballeros?
and what was the other?
Salados Amigos.
Yes.
They went down and did actual research and looked into the
But
the
he
history
was
of the
trying
stuff.
to further. He was working on.
It was basically to help
It was
tourism.
propaganda.
It was to help with tourism in South America.
Yeah, but it was to present areas in a certain light that people might have a different viewpoint on.
Okay.
So he was working with the government and with those governments to promote things, to convince people that certain things were
What?
it was worthy of traveling there.
Right. Okay.
So
So again, he's just trying to help form a better world.
I'm interrupted. Is it me or you?
It's probably you.
Oh, we're not in. I don't think we're interrupted. Are we interrupted?
I don't think so. I mean, I see us live streaming still on our Facebook version here. I see us up there.
Okay.
I think we're still here.
So if someone
If we're not
could
still
look-
here, somebody let us know.
if somebody could look up what was some of the actual
Mary
films.
still
I
sees
don't
us.
no, hi Mary.
Hey, Mary.
So what were the actual films, the fictional movies that Walt produced about space? What was the one? Was it Mission to Mars? No.
No,
But I
Man to
think-
Space and Mission to Mars were fact-based.
In fact, what were the
I think you're spending more time on this than you need
No,
to.
no, I want to know about those. So not only was he using fact-based films, but he's also making fictionalized movie to garner support for our space race.
Right.
And he was working behind
The
the
black
scenes.
hole. I thought that was
No,
in
not the black hole.
No,
No.
that's
No, not the black hole.
No.
There was
That was not even good.
it was a live action. There were several live action that had to Moon.
Well, we were just
don't-
watching one.
What was
this
it called?
weekend.
It's Moon something.
That was one of the fact-based ones.
Yeah,
Man
No,
in
no, no.
Space.
Man
No.
in Space. Yeah, that was.
We've been talking about that.
Yeah.
Just pull out my phone and look it
I
up.
don't know what
myself.
it's called.
Anyway,
Um,
and Walt Disney did have a very tight connection with NASA at the time, back in the 50s.
Well, before it was even NASA,
Right,
he was
true.
working.
That's true. It was before it was even NASA.
But
But I think you're like overdoing
no,
this
I'm not.
point.
I want to find
Gotta get back
Rocket
to-
to the Moon, but what
Moon
was
Pilot.
Moon Pilot? Thank you. Okay, so and what year was Moon Pilot?
You
so-
just had it on your phone.
I never had Moon Pilot. Mary said it.
Oh, okay.
I never
okay,
found it. Okay, so
Moon Spinners.
Moon Spinners. No, I don't know about that one.
yeah, we saw that one. We
Mhm.
watched all of them.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, so imagine what the experts, what the people on the board now today would
They're
be
like,
saying.
Walt, you're crazy.
You're crazy.
You're
We're not doing that.
1962.
1962. That is when this guy right here,
Was born.
that's when I was born.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah.
care.
And we're making movies about see how Walt was shaping people's thoughts?
He was.
He was, because we weren't going to the moon yet.
No,
This was also on a push to promote Disneyland.
partially too. He was trying to,
Well,
promote his
It was part of the Disneyland series of TV
Yeah, but
shows that he was doing on
in
ABC
Tomorrowland, he put a rocket there. Why did he put a rocket there?
because that's what he thought the future would be
trying
like
to get
based
he
on.
was trying to get kids
And
excited
for a
about
certain
it.
period of
Yeah.
time, Tomorrowland was actually updating constantly to
Mhm.
reflect what the future would look like.
Again, he was basically trying to help shape a better world. It was more than just entertainment. There was education as well as the
Okay.
entertainment.
So we see that over and over. Walt uses influence of films to shape and change people. And change the viewpoints of the world around him. So it shouldn't shock any of us to know that he uses a film about a black freed slave and a little white boy who learns important lessons from his kindly Uncle Remus.
Are we going to get to where he learned about this?
Okay, so where did Walt learn about this, Marcus?
Heard about the Tales of Uncle Remus as a small boy in Missouri.
And how do you know this, Marcus?
Oh, because of the special features on Song of the South.
Where
He was
Walt
doing
says
an
it,
interview.
There's
sort
actually
of.
there's
Who's-
actually a
whose
narrative.
voice? Whose voice says this?
Walt Disney
Walt
himself.
Disney
Walt
himself.
Disney himself. Yeah. It's pretty cool. There are some extra scenes or extra.
No,
that's
not
not
extra
scenes,
scenes.
but extra audio bonus features.
No, it was like promoting the soundtrack of the movie with
Yeah.
the actors from the movie and Walt himself.
But they're in like the extras. They're in the bonus.
No.
But it was a radio program, I'm sure.
It was like a radio program that they played music from the movie, and they interviewed Walt during part of it. And it was interesting to listen to him. I mean, because, yeah, like you said, in his own words, he said, I really wanted to make this movie because I remember these tales, hearing them, reading them as a child in Missouri.
So now one of the things that I think is important to note about Walt is that, he was never one to back down.
Not really, no.
And if he decided he was going to do something, he had a reason and he did it.
Well,
So-
and he made this movie. And again, I sort of want to go back to the fact, again, of the whole basis of, the Uncle Remus character that was basically used as the vehicle for these tales. Obviously, it wasn't an Uncle Remus who told all these tales. He was just the vehicle for the movie. He was the vehicle for the book of where these tales were told from. But
there's a book?
There's a book, Marcus. Yes, there's a book. Yeah.
I thought the movie was the original.
No, it wasn't. So, although, yeah, okay.
Okay.
But again, you sort of nailed it that, okay, we're talking about the 1860s, 1870s, 1880, even early 1900s. And this was a tale of Uncle Remus helping to mold this young white kid.
Whose father was not present.
Just like the author's wasn't. But Uncle Remus was this kid's father figure, his grandfather figure, whatever you want to call him. But I'm sure that had to be like unheard of. Shocking in that time frame. And even for some people today, unfortunately, it is. But this guy used that way to tell the stories and to help this white kid learn lessons, life lessons.
But
we shouldn't just it should.
Okay, but Walt's hearing these stories as a young boy,
and he's being influenced by them.
Do you think that it was shocking to hear these stories? That wasn't commonplace.
Right.
Okay. So
I mean, but think about that. That just hit me right now as we said that. Walt was being influenced by them.
Yes.
How many other people were being influenced by these stories that now are basically sort of threatened to be just cut off because, we can't tell this stuff anymore.
Okay. So why did Walt push ahead and decide to do this? So, okay,
because he had many ideas that were never appreciated in their time.
So, maybe buried in the vault somewhere that we don't have access to
but the
Disney,
CEO does.
Yeah, maybe the CEO.
No, you said along the list of things that he has access to is what whatever he wants.
Maybe they have some writings of Walt or words of Walt where he talks about his views and thoughts about it. I couldn't find anything significant about why he decided. There's nothing that I found that Walt said, we are making this movie to further this cause, but
if he did, they probably wouldn't want people hearing that.
Walt at a time where blacks were not being employed for movies. Right. Walt was moving ahead and doing that. And he was, we know that he was
he got a lot of friction for trying to do this. He did.
Okay. So imagine in a time of segregation, having a little white boy learn valuable lessons from a black man. And I'm sure at that time, this film was shocking moviegoers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to put yourself back in, that weird mindset. But yeah, I mean, that's what I say. I mean, this was groundbreaking.
Okay.
This was a groundbreaking thing for Walt to do.
Uncle Remus was played by James Baskett. Now, when you see this,
I'll pull it up.
When you see this, I want you to guess. How old do you think Uncle Remus was during this movie?
The actor.
Mm-hmm. James Baskett. And he ends up receiving an honorary Academy Award. And Walt pushed for that, but they weren't giving awards. So
Regina's saying his 40s.
Yes, you're right.
You're right.
You are absolutely right.
He
think
was in his
48?
40s. And no, he
40?
died at 44, I
Or
believe.
44. Okay, I'm sorry.
Or 45.
Yeah, so obviously this guy, I mean, if they did not put a white beard on him, I would have to say he probably lived a hard life. And that's,
Okay.
I'm sorry I'm losing it again. I do that a lot.
We're just going to ignore him. Ignore him. Just ignore him. Okay.
No,
so,
I mean,
so
this guy didn't have an easy life, it doesn't look like.
The James Baskett and the other Black actors and actresses didn't go to the premiere of the movie because they would have had to sit in the balcony due to segregation laws.
Right. Which again, you put yourself in that mindset. That just doesn't even compute anymore.
Okay. Well, Walt Disney.
Some people are asking for that to happen again.
Yeah.
Walt Disney didn't attend the premiere either. The film had its world premiere at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia on November 12, 1946. And Walt made introductory remarks, introduced the cast, and then left for his room at the Georgian Terrace Hotel across the street. And one of the reasons he did not watch the film during its premiere screening was out of respect for Baskett and the other Black actors. Now, James Baskett and Walt Disney became friends.
Thank you, Regina.
Became friends. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I shouldn't be so callous. I am sorry. Well,
I know, I know you're reading this. You did the research on this.
And I do feel very passionate about it.
And I know when I've done, like even when I've talked about my own, my death and being gone for, and then coming back story, sometimes I sort of detach myself when I'm telling it myself.
Yeah.
And when you're reading this, basically you did a lot of research on this to try and,
Well, a lot of things I knew, some of the stuff about.
But when I hear it, it gets to me.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Here's the thing. I am so passionate about this because we've really studied the life of Walt and the movies he made. I mean, the obscure movies. We have watched so many obscure movies that people don't even hear about. And why he felt passionate about certain things and how he wanted to shape the future.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just about a theme park.
No, it wasn't.
And so what's interesting to note is the NAACP boycotted this movie because of how they said it depicted slaves. Nobody, and I don't even know if Walt knew the history actually about how it was written. I mean, he probably would have known some of it, but he knew the stories.
Yeah. Well,
and
again, the movie is based off of the post
Civil War.
So
in the Reconstruction,
the emancipation during Reconstruction, and was the movie told in an idyllic way? Probably. I mean, you got to admit. I mean, some of it was probably a little idyllic. But
that was Walt's view of what life should be like,
and that could be, and a lot of movies do that. I mean, even today, a lot of times there is artistic license that is done in a historical or any kind of movie. They might take some artistic license and but yeah, I mean, we're talking back in the
when he received much criticism for this.
Back how many years ago now? 70? How many years has this been?
Well, what was it? What did I say? 1940? Was it 46? 1946, I believe. So
a little over 70 years ago, and it was a much different world then, and things that were acceptable then. We would just sort of go. We're just sort of like, huh, really?
So this is set, but after. If they don't say it, but that is that's when the stories are supposed to be set. Sometimes movies tell our stories without consulting us and understanding our perspective, which Walt could have never known without consulting with a person of color. I hope he did that. Well, okay. So
he was close friends with some of the cast, so I'd assume he'd consulted them.
Actually, Uncle Remus, the character,
Uncle Remus,
the actor who played Uncle Remus, is said to have been Walt said he was a good friend.
And he was just coming in to be a butterfly.
James Baskett.
He was just coming in to be the voice of a butterfly.
Go ahead and tell that. This is an interesting.
I literally just told it.
Well, it was an interesting little side story that we learned as well.
I literally just told it there.
So he actually was coming in initially to be the voice of a butterfly?
The voice of a single butterfly.
A single butterfly in the movie. And Walt, and I guess they knew each other somehow. I don't know exactly.
No. Walt must have heard his voice and said he wanted him to play Uncle Remus. Now, Song of the South is the.
But anyway, so he went from being the voice of a single butterfly to the main character and getting an honorary Academy Award for this role, which I think the guy did a fantastic job. I love Uncle Remus.
Now we know that Walt researched every movie he made. He was actively involved in every project, and they didn't just when they were doing Dumbo, they didn't just.
Yeah, they brought elephants
to the studio.
They had the artists do that.
Sketch them.
So I got to imagine Walt probably, talked with some of the actors that were in the movie.
Well, I would think he would have talked to a lot of people. We don't know because we're not.
Yeah.
All of that has been hidden.
Unfortunately, yeah. That's I don't think we'll ever find that out.
And we know that when he did the moon ones, the rocket ones, he brought in the top experts, and he brought in NASA experts
before they were even NASA.
Yes. So we know that he did that. So at the end of the movie, Johnny, the little boy who is, I'm not offended by the film, but back then people took creative license to develop the passionate perspective of what blacks felt like post-slavery that was made for Hollywood, because there's authentic pain for folks of color back in those days. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And, James Baskett received criticism for being in the film. And
and she Regina's saying
I love
learning some things from you tonight. So, and Regina, that's what we were trying to do tonight. I knew this was going to be a controversial topic. It's not our typical show, but we just don't want history to be just wiped out, and we want to make sure, and I want to learn as well, and that's why we love doing or having our WDWpov, getting points of view from all kinds of different people, that I may not have a perspective that you're going to have. You may not have a perspective that I'm going to have, but I just hope that we can learn from each other and improve this world. We were hoping to try not to lose this history and try and learn from it and move forward. So
at the very end of the movie, Johnny, the little boy, and the two other children from the movie, the little Jenny, she's a little white girl, and there was a little black boy, and they go skipping off, and with Uncle Remus and the animals, and they are, this is a great picture. They're holding hands and skipping off, and
that's what I would like the world to be.
and maybe that's what Walt was trying to do. Maybe he was trying to show, look, first of all, kids just play together without worrying about
what color,
unless you're specifically taught that by an adult.
Yeah, yes. unless it's learned. Exactly.
And they were just happy to be together. And maybe he was trying to portray his thoughts about a future being this idyllic world.
But it's a beautiful. I mean, it is a beautiful movie.
It is much better than some of the stuff they put out.
Oh my goodness! No. But even the they mesh. This was the innovation of meshing the live action with the animation.
Well, this was the first.
This was the first movie. This was the first time they did.
And I'm going to say this.
This was the first live action, wasn't it?
Was it the first?
First live action animation.
Well, I know it was the first live action animation. I don't know about complete live action, but if it was,
people don't want to watch Misery for entertainment.
I mean, it was a groundbreaking movie.
I think a lot of more movies portray ideal interactions. Yes, but I think
another thing about, before we completely get off the topic of the animation and live action, the animation and live action together parts where you have real people and animated objects, it holds up so much better than any attempts at it nowadays. Even some CGI movies, like
it's a great. What did you say?
Yes,
it holds up so much better than the live action Beauty and the Beast.
It was a beautifully made movie, and the story it told was, again, like you said, you've got these just holding hands, being together, and just living like fellow humans.
Yes.
Yes, in my opinion, we need more progressive conservatives in this world.
No, that's a good point. Because you can't go all the way
conservative.
You can't go all the way here. You can't
you
go
be
all the
too
way
progressive. You mess everything up.
So
very good. That's very good.
My personal opinion is that one of the biggest downfalls of the Walt Disney Studios is they have failed to follow in Walt's footsteps. They produce shows to entertain and make money.
Yeah.
They produce movies to make money. They don't make money to make movies anymore.
And
I love that.
That's what Walt said. He said he made money to make.
See, you got a progressive conservative out there.
Walt said he did not make movies to make money. He made money to make movies.
Yes.
He blew most of his money on making movies.
It wasn't
such as
always.
Fantasia.
Yeah, it wasn't always about making.
Which he had to
I
recoup.
love Fantasia.
He had to recoup the losses from Fantasia with Dumbo.
Yeah, but no, I mean it's the truth though. I mean he was more than just
and Fantasia was an innovation for the time.
Oh yeah.
And it still is, because they have not continued to do that except for one time, and that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, and Walt never shied away. One of the things that I think he would have been doing today, he would be getting on Sunday night, he'd be getting on TV and saying, "This is why we need to watch this movie," and
he'd be explaining the history of it.
He would have embraced the internet full on.
Could you see him with Twitter?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Walt Disney on Twitter and the internet. Oh my goodness, what would that have been like?
It probably would have been a way more uplifting place.
No, you're right. You're right. We wouldn't be. Maybe it wouldn't be all the infighting going on, but no, he would have explained.
And since he was so popular and famous, people wouldn't block what he's saying.
Oh my goodness! How did we get off on this?
Well, no, because
he was an innovator, and nobody does anything like that anymore.
So that's why I like this show, because we don't know what we're going to always talk about. I mean, even when we have, my wife actually has notes and stuff. Usually we don't have any notes, but even when we got notes, we don't know where we're going to go. That's a call saying, Walt went with his heart wanted, where his heart wanted. Now Disney go where the money is. And unfortunately, Colin, that's that's somewhat true.
And Walt really would have not backed away. And I mean, he made the film. Do you think he made it to put it in a vault?
Forever.
I'm thinking, Walt, we need you to come back and say.
And now all those movies after he died in the 70s and maybe some of the 80s, say, put those in there forever. Why are you people even like the black hole?
Those horrible years in the 70s.
Why do people like
80s.
this movie?
Yeah,
the black hole.
That was a bad. I mean, they were trying to take advantage of the Star Wars stuff and space and science fiction,
and they failed. And now it has a cult following.
Didn't do a great job at it. Yeah.
Well, usually movies like that do. If it's not popular, the movies should be out there for people to view. It's your choice whether to view it or not. Absolutely. And
yeah, you shouldn't just have a big mob of people saying this company shouldn't do this because this is what I feel.
But I do. I mean, when you watch when Walt produced, those segments to try to, convince people of things.
Mhm.
I mean, even
Come to Disneyland. It won't be terrible.
is somebody said?
No.
Oh.
I'm plagiarizing
And
a
Dana's
lot.
saying people are too sensitive. I see nothing wrong with that film, and it's a classic.
It's better than most of the
and,
movies
and
they
yeah,
put
and,
out
and that's
now.
and you know what? And here's the thing. I mean, we really struggled with this.
You did. You struggled.
No, you did too.
It's
You
a
did
private
too.
company.
No.
No. We're talking about just even doing this show tonight.
Yeah.
Because
we
I
run
feel
the
like-
risk of offending.
yeah,
And losing viewers forever.
and
But I mean, we're not here to.
No, we're not here.
I feel like I'm like Walt Disney. We're like Walt Disney.
oh my god, now we're comparing ourselves to Walt Disney. That's
Well, I see nothing wrong with that.
Let's see.
Slick
Let's
your
see.
hair back a little bit.
Here's your head. It's
No,
not
slick
your-
your no. You just
I
have to
don't
slick
have
your hair
all-
back a little bit more.
Yeah, I could do that. I could
Make
do
the mustache a little thinner,
I
maybe.
could do the slick. Oh, I could do the little thinner mustache. I'll dye it a little bit. Maybe next week I'll come on as Uncle Walt.
You
How's
might look like someone else if you dye it a little bit.
that? With the
The specific hair.
No,
the
not that
specific
kind.
hairstyle needs to be a
No.
comb over.
Okay.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Regina said people are too sensitive.
Yeah, that's what I just
Oh, okay.
She does what
Patty
I do.
needs a cigarette.
I'm like two or three comments
Why
behind.
do I need a cigarette?
Walter was always smoking cigarettes. How do you not
Okay.
remember that?
Okay.
So basically, at the end of the day, and these are just my thoughts, that I think he would, he embraced controversy. He really did.
Yeah, he did.
Animated movie? Never heard of it.
And he would not hide from. I hate when you do that because
I'm going to do this quick. Well, no. I'm going to do this.
So
quick.
he would not be. He wouldn't be hiding from it. In fact, he'd probably make a sequel.
Probably.
Following more stories.
So
No.
those are my thoughts.
Are you
And-
done?
I'm done.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to bring. Okay. Well,
The only problem
I'll
is,
bring-
would he be able to get people to come do it for him out of fear of them getting?
He was able to get people to come and do this film for him. Right?
Thank you, Regina.
what's she saying here?
Yes, sometimes these types of conversations are uncomfortable for some, but I applaud you, beautiful folks, for having it, and it adds value to what's happening these days.
Did we
Love
just
your
dr-
perspective.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because-
Something weird happened on my screen. I'm trying
Is it
to.
your fault?
Are we still talking?
I think so. Something just froze up on our
She would
screen.
not hide from.
Hold on. I think our computer is acting a little flaky. There we go. There we
Okay.
go. I think we're back.
We're back up.
Okay.
Sort of.
We
maybe.
sort of froze there for a minute. I think it's still sort of frozen. Bear with us for a second.
Can they hear us? You're blip, but you're still here.
Okay,
Mary
we're
says.
blip, but we're still here. Yeah, I can see like my mouse is just sort of hanging loose here. Give me a second. Let's see if I can fix this. We're still here, but we're blip. Please hang in there. Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Can they hear us?
I don't know.
You are flashing.
You are flashing. Frozen.
Oh.
Where's Olaf?
Can you hear us?
You know what? I'd venture to even say that Song of the South was better than Frozen.
There you go.
Okay, so can anyone hear us? Frozen screen, but they can hear you. Oh, okay.
Well, we'll
Just keep
talking.
talking.
So one of the things Jeff is trying
We
to
can't highlight comments now, but
Yeah, our comment highlighting skills have been temporarily disconnected.
Frozen.
Frozen.
you guys are flashing us.
Steve, always with the jokes.
Okay, so Jeff is trying to fix the screen, and I'll talk a little bit. One of the things that and I say this often.
And this worked fine when I was doing my tests, by the way.
Okay.
Earlier today, I was trying to, because
Are you
what I'm
fixing
trying
the
to,
screen?
I'm trying to, but I'm getting a little circle of death here with
Okay.
the mouse thing.
Well, let me say, one
Steve
of
can
the
hear
things-
us just fine.
What
Steve doesn't, it doesn't matter to him. He'll just keep listening.
One of the things that I sort of view Walt like I did my dad. I think there were a lot of similarities, besides the fact that Walt made movies and my dad pumped gas.
It's a little different,
but they were both business people, and
yeah.
They were both good men.
They were both good men.
They both smoked.
They both smoked, but they were both.
They both died due to lung
smoking too much. Yeah.
They both.
Oh, I think we're back. No.
Are we back?
Maybe. Hold on. Maybe.
Are we back?
Maybe.
Ooh.
We're sort of back.
We're getting some reaction back on the screen, just a little bit. We're still blipping.
Hi, Aaron. It says Aaron is watching, but we are having some tough technical difficulties. Regina said, yes, sometimes these types of conversations are uncomfortable for some, but I applaud you, beautiful folks, for having it, and it adds value to what's happening these days. Love your perspective. And thank you, Regina. Thank you so much.
Now we're flashing again.
Yeah, we are flashing.
Yeah.
Can you turn that off?
That's what I'm trying to do. I was trying to escape
he created a problem for us.
I think we're coming back.
Are we back? Oh, we're real people now.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Now, why are we flashing here?
How do you do?
This is delayed 20 seconds. Pretty good, shows your bone.
And
one of
the things
we're going to sing for you a little later too, by the way.
One of the things that I did read recently is that historians credit Joel Chandler Harris with writing down this dialect, which was in the book
something we never would have been able to save entirely.
Yes,
today.
that this was a labor of love for him to it's.
Callum agrees with me.
I'm just bringing some of the older comments back up because I know you read it already, but
too many people, he said.
Let's see. Callum says too many people in today's world are worried about their image and PR, etc., and doing everything to distance themselves from sensitive issues. Like Marcus said, it's all down the money. And
I'm going to be completely honest. I was having second thoughts about doing this tonight.
Why?
It's kind of a sensitive issue. I haven't done anything like this ever. The most I've done is talk to my older siblings about this stuff, and I can't win arguments against them.
But
Oakley Reed Productions, we should be back now, I hope, on both Facebook and YouTube.
There is no winning in arguments with them. This isn't an argument either. This is just an open-ended discussion.
Right?
Yes. And you know what, it is important to have discussions, because how do we, and that was the other thing that I was going to say that Walt reminded me of my dad, because my dad would have tough discussions with people. And, today we say things like, we don't talk about politics. We don't talk about religion. And what's the other thing? Money. Is it money, religion, and politics?
No, we talk about monny tons.
In our family, we talk about all of them all the time.
No, I know. But in a lot of families, they do not bring it up because nobody knows how to have civil conversations about things. And a lot of times when you sit down and you talk about things, you find out that people are very similar. And sometimes it might just be one view that's wildly different.
Okay.
Okay.
I hope
Now you're completely frozen, audio and video. Oh, we are completely frozen.
You ruined it.
frozen.
Nobody's seeing this.
I know that. We're going to give it a few seconds here. It might kick itself back on.
We're back.
Are we?
That's what she says back, but
We're
I
back?
don't know.
Are we back? See, I can see. It's weird. We have like
This is
grayed
how
out
things
screens.
should be talked about, but in today's world, it always goes back to political views, which is ruining open, peaceful debate. Absolutely.
The problem with debate is people get entrenched in their own views and opinions too much already. So they're not going to change their mind or keep an open mind to anything anyone else says.
Well, and I always say,
Because I'm right.
if you
Yeah.
if you only surround yourself with people who have your same viewpoint, you like never grow.
It's sort of boring.
Yeah.
It's sort of
like-
boring,
it
but
would be
it's
like
safe
living-
and you don't have to worry about people hating you.
It would be like everyone living in a White House and driving a green car and having every family having 2 kids.
No, it's got to be a blue car. Can't be a green car. It's got to be blue.
And then a White House, blue car,
Yeah.
okay, 2 kids,
I want an orange house.
and the same type of dog. Like, how exciting could the world be?
I don't know. But Steve says we're back in living color.
We don't look like we're in living color.
I know. It's weird. Our screens are
Can
both
Steve see us at all?
grayed out. We can't. We have almost no access to anything. We've got the little blue spinny thing cursor, so we don't have any control over anything right now. All we can do is see your sort of half grayed out comments popping up, but we can't bring them up on the screen. So it's really sort of an odd situation going here. And we've got this other little screen here that's frozen inside
Steve
of
can't
that
see
screen.
you.
Oh, thanks, Mary. But Mary
Mary
can.
says
Mary
she can.
see
Okay.
us.
Okay.
So, like I said, I did not buy my copy of Song of the South. It was given to me. It was it a birthday present?
Could have
It
been
was-
birthday.
it
Could have
was
been
a-
Christmas.
And we watched it, and we want to watch it again. It's heartwarming. It's heartwarming. It's funny and heartwarming. I was just making a play on words for the TV show In Living Color. Oh, okay. But Jeff did read to our older kids some of when they were younger.
Yeah, these guys. Yeah.
Do you
Marcus?
remember Dad reading some of this to you? Some of the tales. I mean, there's a lot of tales, and so
one of our
obviously-
favorite lines was about Brer Fox. How'd it go?
He
He
laid
laid low. That was like one of our favorite
Now
lines.
the one
Brer Fox, he laid low.
the one story is about how what's the name of it?
Which one?
The one about the pond and the Marcus. What's that? We're talking.
Oh, that one.
Oh.
That one.
I
Give
don't
me
know
the
what's
book.
this.
I'll find the exact
all
name.
people were once black.
Oh my
It
god.
was the central theme of the
Okay,
story.
this one.
No. This is the
one's-
central theme.
This
But
one's
this is a story, and it's
This
the
one's
central theme. That's the theme of the story. And what's the name of the story? Marcus will say.
Okay, page.
107, I believe.
Yes.
100
So,
and something.
but
Why the?
why the what?
Probably shouldn't say that.
What is it?
Uh,
Where is it? Oh, it's Negro, which
Mhm,
was
it is black.
not why the Negro is black. Now, first of all, do you know where the word Negro comes from?
Not exactly.
It's just another word for black.
No,
It's-
it actually in some languages means black.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
I said. It's a word that
And
means black.
but we
It's-
don't.
I think it's
I just
mostly,
read that earlier
You
today.
know-
I think it's mostly Hispanic. I think is where
Is that it?
I'm pretty sure Negro comes from the Hispanic word. For black.
I wish we could, because through the years,
And please, and please do not take offense to this statement.
what?
as a white guy, I'm confused, and I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. So if anyone could correct me or tell me for sure if I'm correct. Okay, so
What?
I mean, okay, so Negro was the chosen.
Well, but I don't know if that's what.
Well, no, I'm talking years ago.
Yeah, but
then it was black.
Yes.
But then changed to African American.
Yes.
Now it seems like we're back to using the term black.
Yes.
Which I'm great with anything. I just want to make sure I'm not being offensive. That's all I want to
Okay,
make
Mary
sure.
said it's Spanish and Portuguese. Negro is Spanish for black,
Yeah.
and we do not like being called that. And yes.
Right. And that's, but this is what it's referred to in the book because that's the term they used back then.
So now I'm going to assume that in other cultures, they would still use that term because
They
that's.
might,
that
yeah,
means
because
black.
that's
Many
their
cultures
word.
that aren't the United
No,
States.
that do not speak English.
Yeah. So,
But I mean,
so I would imagine if you were talking to
Why
a
can't we just
Hispanic-
be people?
Thank you.
Well, we are people,
But
but
we
in
are,
some
but-
cases, you need to
Yeah.
identify someone in some way.
yes.
Yeah, but no, Mary,
It's natural
Mary,
for humans to group different humans together
much
in
pain.
different
We are
ways.
both- We are both black and African American. Feel free to choose now. But I have,
Thank you.
I do have some friends that I'm in some blogging groups
some of your
with
blogging
that
friends. Yeah.
say nope, do not say African Americans. So
So I just want to make sure
I'm kind of confused by the whole African American thing. Where did that come from, and why was that it specifically? We didn't call Asian
exactly, Marcus.
Americans Asians.
Well, now everybody, and that's the thing again. But
We didn't
was it
call
Mary?
Asian Americans
Was it Mary that said?
Asians.
Wait.
Why
Mary-
can't we
Why
just
can't we
Why
just be
can't we
people?
just be people?
Yes, but it is natural for humans to group things together based on the way they look. If you can see, which in Steve's case he can't.
Yeah. Well.
But we group them based on age,
Yeah.
different things that
but
are
again-
unique to them.
But that's part of society's problem right now.
Yeah.
Is that everybody has to be pigeonholed into a group. This person is this. This person is that. This person looks like this. This person looks like that. They act like this. They act like that.
That's why we have
But-
groups
but
of
we're-
nerds
But we're
and the drama
but
club.
we're all
but we
different
could just
people.
skip the labeling.
Yeah, thank you. We're all different people.
But I'm not saying we have to do labeling. I'm saying it's natural for humans, not just white people, but humans as a whole, to group things based on the way they look and different attributes
So
about
what,
them.
why would
So
we?
what's the answer?
Wait. We could group people by eye color, and you would say, okay, you're blue, you're green, and you're brown, and you're gray,
You're hazel.
and you're hazel.
I'm not
Really?
saying we're
Oh,
grouping
you're-
people based on these things. I'm
You're
not saying we should.
you're
I'm
hazel.
saying it's natural for
You're
humans to
hazel.
do this.
Yes, I get that, but
But I'm not saying we should do that.
I know.
I know, and that's
Yeah, Regina, thank you.
You're
We're-
called
I'm not
European.
called an European American.
But
Asian
if
Americans aren't called Asian Americans. We just call them Asian,
you-
or in
you
some
might
cases we
say
call them
you're an
Chinese.
Italian American.
Oh, Italian.
No,
American.
I really wouldn't.
I know.
I would
but
just say I'm an American.
But that's another term, and it's like again, we have to
Hispanic. We don't
pigeonhole
call them
everything.
Hispanic Americans. We
I'm
just call them
sorry,
Hispanics.
We're getting a little emotional.
Okay, so you
African American
skip
to
the
me
labels.
means you are from Africa, but I'm saying there's all these other things that aren't whatever American. It was only African American that was ever referred to.
No,
that as much as
not
I
ever.
know.
In your lifetime.
No.
In my
But
lifetime.
In our lifetime.
Italian
So-
American was a
But
big thing. And
This was continent based, not
now. What am I?
specifically country.
I'm half Italian, half Slovak.
Europe is a very diverse.
I'm half
area,
Italian,
too.
half Slovak. So what am I?
You're
I'm a half
you were
breed.
born in America, so you're American.
Well, thank you. Okay, so
Yeah.
I wish
So-
I had my screen back so I could actually
Yeah, no, we
post the
don't have a
pictures.
screen.
Our
But
screens are still locked up here. We're trying to read off of our phone now.
yeah, that's why all of our faces are down. Okay, so
Yeah, but
Yeah.
all Asians are
No,
not Chinese. All black races are not from Africa.
Exactly. Some are from,
There's some southern parts of India, right?
No,
Are there?
No,
I don't.
that would be mostly Indian and on,
Yeah.
on that continent. But
But and
no,
that's
there
part
are
of
there are
Asia.
many islands.
Yeah, there are islands, Madagascar, but that's also.
That's part of Africa.
But
no,
it's
like,
an island.
but like
but there's
this,
nothing wrong with
Sometimes I have to call black folks and say, "Okay, y'all, what are we calling ourselves this month?" I'm confused what to call myself.
Regina,
we should just call ourselves Americans and people. If you're from America, you are American.
Or humans.
We're all humans.
Because again, we're not just talking our own country here.
It's one of those things like, wish I had a time machine and could go forward, because if we do start traveling to Mars, or if we do,
who do we have to thank for that?
If we, will they be Martians? If they establish a colony on Mars,
so if humans are on the planet Mars,
African people, humans.
They would be Martians.
American people are humans. Everyone is a human.
Thank you, Regina. I don't want to offend anyone, but this confusion is real. Yeah, American people, humans. Yeah, everybody.
Here's the thing. Not only are we talking about
a couple different things about it, but
we're trying to solve the world's problems here on this show right now.
Martians. We're going to be Martians.
Martians.
All race comes down to really is a couple physical appearance differences. And that's it. Deep down, we're all just the same people.
Well, so let me.
They can't see it.
No, they can't.
Yes, they can. They can see us.
Oh, they can see us?
They can see us. They can hear us, but we can't see what's going on the screen.
Can I tell them?
Except on this one.
Can I tell
this one,
them
apparently.
the story
a little bit.
of Jack? When I was
we could just call ourselves Earthlings and
so
thanks, Tina.
I was having a discussion with Jack about skin and how
I can see.
I don't ever remember having a discussion with him before about it.
And just doesn't come up.
No, and because he never brings it up. He never, when he sees people, says anything.
Right.
But
Jack is
very much.
He's a very pure soul.
When in doubt, just call us black.
Very pure soul. And
Regina.
Yeah.
That's what we love about him.
So we were having a conversation with him about I'm talking to him about people and how different people have different their skin looks different. And I said, some people are darker, and I said, what are you? And he said, I'm pale. And when he looks at his skin, he's not white. We don't look white. He calls himself pale.
I don't know what you would call us.
We're not even really that pale anymore. We're tan.
I got a decent tan going. I've been doing a lot of yard work and working on the garden.
I don't know.
Like we're the furthest thing from white.
Well, not the furthest thing from white. But
look at our.
Yeah.
That was part of the whole story that we got with the Negroes.
Yeah, that was one of the stories. And
there was a pond. Everyone started off as black, as they said. And there was a pond that when you jumped into it, you turned white.
This is one of the stories.
But eventually it became empty, and all that was left was enough to put your hands and feet into it, and all they could get were the palms and the bottoms of their feet. And then the Chinese, according to the story, only got like their heads. That's why their hair is straight.
Yeah. So this part gets a little borderline racist stuff, but I mean, it was their folk tale. It was their folk tale
to
explain
why
the origins of people.
Yeah.
And why our hands are all the same.
And so they were saying that all people were black initially. They had this lake and
I was telling the story about Douglas.
But I know we'll get back to that. But yeah, but then that was
we got sidetracked from.
But that was funny because you had the guy who came to your dad's gas station, who would tell similar stories about how he was a white. He was born white, but he was.
him and my dad were brothers.
They were brothers. I mean, and
he would tell people
this guy would come to her dad's gas station. He was a black guy. Her dad and him just joked around, had a great time. And we're talking back, 60s, 70s. So, but they would, he would tell similar stories to some of the stuff that we're reading in, Uncle Remus stories. So anyway.
Okay. So Jack says he's pale. And I said, what do you think, we call people who have dark skin, and we talked about that, if their skin is dark, we say that they're black. And I asked him, so our skin is different on the outside, but are we the same inside? And he looked at me like,
on the inside?
well, what is wrong with my mother? And his response was, I don't know.
Because he's thinking inside, like,
like he's never seen anyone's insides. Like he has no clue.
but we are basically all the same on the inside, aren't we?
Yeah, but Jack, I mean, just the way he looked at me, like, I don't know. So that was our funny story.
Oh my goodness.
And I am leaving. I'm leaving from Marcus and Jeff to finish this story.
How are we going to end the broadcast?
I don't know because our thing is frozen.
Oh, it's frozen.
My thing I was going to pull up here so we had the words in front of us is frozen. I was going to try and bring up yeah, my goodness. You know what? I'm going to try and do something here. And if it blows up, I'll try to reestablish the connection before it completely goes away on us. But let me try this. I'm going to try and close out a couple of things here and see what happens. I may just end up losing everything altogether, or I may end up fixing what's going on here.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
Don't count on him to fix anything.
I'm going to try.
Thanks, beautiful, for leading the lesson and discussion. Jack is super cute. It was just such a beautiful illustration of what life should be like. And he teaches us daily. I always say God put him in our lives for us to learn. Even though I'm homeschooling him, he's the one teaching me, and I he's just a beautiful soul. He really is.
Okay, I'm going to try and close this window out. If I close this and I lose everything,
blame him.
I'll try to restart it before I completely lose everything.
Thank you for.
We'll try this.
I'm going to leave.
Okay.
Thank you.
This would be a shame to lose all of this episode.
Thank you for all the research you did.
How are you getting out of here?
We're not letting
you need to move.
She's not getting out of here.
Yeah, let me out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
it would be a shame to lose this episode.
I know. It would be. I don't want to lose this episode. I think
there were a couple faces in the audience that we didn't see tonight.
I know. There's a lot
I'm very
of faces.
surprised.
Well, see, now that's the thing. I'm not necessarily surprised. I sort of figured we'd have probably a low turnout because we were talking about a controversial subject. And
T9 wants you to go watch Angels in the Outfield.
Oh, I love that show.
I have to watch it for this week.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why?
With Jack.
I got to watch it.
For our Thursday show.
Okay, gang. I'm going to try and close this window out. Bear with me. If I get this to work or if it blows up or something, we'll try and get back on before we finish up because, like I said, we were going to try and sing a couple of songs, a couple of Splash Mountain / Song of the South songs. Steve saying they can always watch the replay. Well, that's the problem is if I can't get this figured out, Steve, I may not be able to get this recording saved properly. Now, I can probably still get the recording off of Facebook, but it's usually a better quality recording from the StreamYard. It's a little bit better than the direct to Facebook thing. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to close this window. If it tells I'm going to close this program, it might wipe everything out. If it does, I got to try and reestablish the connection quickly. Ready? 1, 2. Let's see. Oh, and he's saying, yeah, it's what about YouTube? I might be able to grab it off of there because the quality on YouTube usually records better as well. It's just going to be a little bit tougher for me to pull everything back, and then I got to throw it back on the Facebook. Okay, bear with me. 1, 2, 3. Closing. I'm trying to close Google Chrome. I think
Did we save it?
I don't know.
It looks like we might have saved it a little bit.
It's doing some weird things, though. Are we back? There we go. Are we back?
We saved it.
We saved it. Now, we probably are going to have 2 broadcasts. It may, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I'll check.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm
Whoa,
still...
that's interesting to look at on the actual.
I'm looking at myself double. Ooh, that's weird.
The one's frozen and it's
look at that.
disturbing.
That is weird. That is weird. But we're back. It's fixed. Now, here's the thing. I was going to put some...
Oh, no, it's still the same one.
Good. We had a blip there. That's okay. But here's the deal. I wanted to bring up some...
I'm sorry. It's stuck in my head. You listen to it once, it gets stuck. Please don't do it again.
I'm going to try this again. I'm going to see what happens. This worked when I did it as a test. If it doesn't work, we'll find out in about 5 to 10 seconds. We'll see what happens. Please work. There we go. I think it's working. See if it works. That's what I was trying to do. Now you got to move over now. Move over so you can see. Okay. So these, we just wanted to, sort of lighten it up here at the end. We wanted to show some Splash Mountain pictures we've done over the years. Again, I love Splash Mountain. Like I said, it's in my top 5 list of rides. I am going to definitely miss it. But I thought, like I said, I thought we'd sort of lighten things up and do some pictures that I sort of collected, a handful of them from over the years. And, yep, you may get wet. That is the old understatement. You may get wet. And there's a little house there. Now, this is something interesting, too, is the weather vanes. A lot of people don't realize how many weather vanes are throughout the whole Walt Disney area. What Steve's saying here, it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as you got it saved. That's true. That's true. So this is going through the line queue. Colin was saying yay. And this is us on the ride. Some of these pictures aren't the best, but they're decent. Pretty good, shows your bone. And Steve is saying when the parks
that's possibly debatable.
What's that? We're open. It will still be Splash Mountain, so try to get there when you can. No, it is. It's going to be a while before they do the plussing or
I think
however
this
they call
could
it.
have also been a play on their part to get more people to come.
I don't think so.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because you don't think they're going to have a bunch of people rushing back to try and get on Splash Mountain one last time?
I got to go back there real quick.
You sure they're not going to have a bunch of people doing that?
There we go. There's getting ready for the drop.
Also, I'm not sure that Princess and the Frog, I'm just saying this like based on the movie and what I remember.
Oh, this is this was during the ride here. This is a selfie with myself, Patty, Marcus, Jack, and
like
Sister Melissa in the back there.
That I'm not sure how
these are some good memories. These are good memories.
A thrill
guys.
ride is going to translate well for a property targeted mainly towards smaller children.
I don't know.
I mean, we have Slinky Dog Dash, but there was also Toy Story Midway Mania, and then there's also the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which is relatively tame.
They're a little bit wet on this one here. You can see a little bit of wetness going on here.
No, Mary, I'm not saying.
And then these were some of the photo pass
rush there, as in they're going to go straight to Disney World or Disneyland. I'm saying they're going to have an influx of people trying to get in to ride it one last time. Not they're rushing straight to the park.
I'm sure it will be a highly sought after ride
Which, with no fast pass line, that's going to be.
We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so these are a collection of some of the PhotoPass pictures that we have over the years. Now, this one here almost looks like I'm picking my nose, but I'm actually not. What I was doing, this was my thoughtful pose, where I go like this. Like that. And this one is interesting because you can see Jack was a little bit afraid on this particular ride, although he has kept his head up on many other rides. And Patty and Marcus back here. And this was one of my GoPro rides. You can see the GoPro strapped onto my head there. And I actually have this video. I have it loaded up as well. Isn't on YouTube yet. Do you think I should put it on YouTube? What do you think?
Maybe. Oh, we still can't forget.
Doing a little thumbs up. We got our matching Mickey Mouse shirts.
We can't forget. Most people don't know about the third Splash Mountain.
Yes. Okay. So we know for sure they're doing the change. Well, at least they've announced the
Disney
change.
World.
They've announced the change. We don't know when. We don't know the details. But yeah, Disney.
I think Steve mentioned something right there.
What's that?
They were going to announce D23 2021, and it was going to happen in 2022.
Yeah, they delayed that. But yeah, no one can rush there. They have park reservations now. But yeah, the thing, interestingly enough, is like you said, Tokyo Disneyland has what some would argue is the best version. This is what
is it in English? I haven't watched.
No, I don't believe it's Japanese, in English, except for I think some of the singing. You know, like do 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 do.
That's the only part that would need to be in English.
But really. I think the characters when they're speaking. I think are in Japanese.
Oh, that's not too bad.
But I have heard some people argue that the Japanese version is actually. Oh, look, you got to move over a little more. That way. There we go. That the Japanese version is actually supposed to be the best version out there. I don't know. I've never been on it, so I'm just going by what I've read. Yeah, Steve is saying, put it on YouTube and try to promote YouTube. You're only 51 away from 1,000. Actually, we might be 50 unless we lost somebody here. Let's try that. Yeah, I know.
Be amortized.
I know. I used to be. I mean, I made a whopping
monetized. We know
monetized.
Amortized.
Yeah, I used to be monetized before they changed the rule of a minimum 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, we're about 50 away. Let me check here real quick. Because it was, let me do
50. It's 50.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
49.
It's 49, baby. Look at that. We got 951 as of the last couple of hours. So if you know anyone out there who would like to see some Disney stuff on YouTube, we post our live stream shows every Monday night. We get posted on YouTube. And I've got about 40 plus videos of rides and attractions. Surprisingly, not Splash Mountain yet, even though I've got raw video.
Is this the WDW? Oh, join us left. Yep, that's the WDWpov. Wait for it.
Are you telling me you have not been subscribed to the WDWpov YouTube channel?
Well, I am now.
My own kid who does the show wasn't even subscribed. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Let's see if it does it.
Get it on camera.
We got to do this here. See if it does it. It might not do it. It may take a few more minutes to register. Yeah, it's probably going to take a few more minutes to register. Either that or you already were a member, and for some reason, sometimes it'll show as if you're not subscribed even though you are.
Callum just subscribed.
Callum, thank you.
Which is odd because he's been watching us on YouTube, and that's how he found us.
Did he really? Is it?
Yeah, he was one of the first viewers to watch on YouTube.
Yeah. You were initially one of our first YouTubers to watch the show on YouTube. Nope, still sitting at 951, but we'll keep watching. Like I said, sometimes it delays.
Just keep going.
Yeah. So anyway, you see some of these, our collection of, the.
It says 953 now for Mary.
Oh, okay. So those other two just registered then.
She just invited some people. Good.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. But yeah, so these are, some of our collection of the going down. Always fun to do that. Well, obviously they're going to still have this part of the ride. They're still going to.
Which for something themed around a property targeted mainly towards small children seems weird.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Like a thrill ride for.
We don't want that on there. We're going to turn that off. There we go. Okay, now we're back to that. Now I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. Bear with me. If it works, it works. If it doesn't.
Wow, it's taking a long time to register.
Yeah, well, there's a product called TubeBuddy, and that's what I was showing you here. TubeBuddy is this product that bolts on to YouTube.
Oh, thank you, Callum.
And it basically gives you some tools to see certain things about how your site's doing and things like that. So it's usually a few minutes behind. There's a Disney Brits Facebook group. Oh, cool.
Hopefully we get those extra
try to share
47
you in if they let me.
Hopefully we get those extra 47 subscribers.
No, I mean well, here's the thing. The bad thing is you also have to have 4,000 hours of watched video. And up until about a month or two ago, I was doing about 4,000 to 5,000 hours on average, if you averaged it out, for our YouTube channel.
Well, you haven't uploaded in so long.
But we're doing our live stream uploads. And I uploaded a Monorail Monday video about 4 weeks ago. But then all of a sudden our YouTube, I think YouTube is actually doing this just to get you. It's like all of a sudden when our count was getting up to close to the 1,000 mark, our hours were dropping. I think YouTube's just messing with us. Anyway, we'll get those views back up as well. But if we can get that up to 1,000 viewers, that would be awesome as well. 1,000 subscribers would be a nice thing to hit. Now, let me see if this works. Hopefully we don't freeze. I'm still moving. I can still see us. Let's see what happens. See if I can get this on here. There we go.
A little shaky.
It's a little, but not bad. It's a little bit
954.
Cool. Thanks. So this is the one picture I showed you of, us coming down Splash Mountain, where I had the GoPro camera. Literally, it's a strap. It's a head strap. It goes right on there. Looked like a cyclops with the camera sitting right in my forehead there. But this was that particular ride on Splash Mountain. I'm going to jump ahead here a little bit. I'll hit the 30-second. What was that?
I don't know.
You may get wet. So I'm going to jump ahead here just so we don't have to watch all the line cue. But I wanted to get that. The good old Splash Mountain sign with Brer Rabbit up there. Such a cool ride. 50-foot plunge ahead. Turbulent flume ride. All that good stuff. Callum is saying that there is a huge Disney core base on Facebook in UK. Just the time difference is against you, I'm afraid. Yeah, I know. We start the show at 8, and what's that? 1 o'clock your time in the morning, I believe. So you've got to be. What time is it now? 10. What is it, like 3 a.m. out there, Callum? You're hanging out there at 3 a.m. watching us. I really appreciate that. I don't know. Like I know when we have daylight savings, it might be 5 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, but I think it's 3 a.m. Yep. So it is a 5-hour difference. Wow. Thank you for watching. Thanks for watching, Callum. We do appreciate you out there. And you know what? I don't think you saw us about 2 weeks ago. We threw caution to the wind and we decided we were going to do a live show. Well, all of our shows are live, but we were going to do a show where we invited our actual guests on the show live on the screen with us. We're actually our POVers, our point of viewers watching the show that night. So we threw our link out there for StreamYard, and that allowed our viewers to jump on live, and we would bring them on for about 5 or 10 minutes and do sort of an interview with them. I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead here again just so we can get through the line queue a little quicker. But yeah, it was a cool show. We ended up, I don't know, probably interviewing about a half a dozen different people. Steve was one of them. We love talking to Steve. And it was fun. So Callum, if sometime down the road, we would love to hear your awesome British accent live on the air. That would be so cool. That would be so cool. Have you on for a short interview, and you could talk Disney with us. But yeah, let's see. Steve is saying spread the word and get them all on YouTube, and they can watch the replays. Yeah, I mean, when we do, we put the recordings on YouTube, we put the recordings on Facebook. But the thing is, with Facebook, it's very hard to like go back and look at previous shows and episodes.
Tina just says they have Sheila.
What's that?
Tina just said they have Sheila.
We have Sheila. Like Sheila from...
They said we have Sheila. I think that's the Sheila she's talking about.
In terms of
not
what?
British Cornish.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tina. Okay, I get you now. Okay, as far as the accent goes, yes, we do have Sheila over on Monorail Tales, a podcast
and Callum saying
that I record
Cornish.
With Cornish. Okay, I don't want to mess that up. Callum, not British, Cornish. Very good. See, we learned that, and this is the cool thing, having people from all over the world, all walks of life, all over the place. You learn different things just from sharing with each other. Okay, I'm going to jump ahead again here. Here we go. Last chance to exit. The last chance to exit sign is up now. So we're going to be boarding our log here in just a moment. I'm not putting the sound up because really, to be honest, it's very noisy. I was actually surprised because a lot of the music and the background music that they have, there's my wife taking pictures. She was actually taking pictures of what do you think?
What?
The wind,
the
weather vanes up on the top there. Yeah. Yeah. Weather vanes all over the place at Magic Kingdom. It's interesting. If you go, next time you go to Magic Kingdom, check out all the weather vanes, especially in Frontierland and the American. I'm drawing a blank here. Where the Hall of Presidents and that area is. Adventureland. So
Liberty Square.
Liberty Square. Thank you. So there's good old Brer Rabbit sitting right on the front of our log. Here we go. And I'll probably jump ahead again just real quickly here. Just so we can get it. There's some water splashing. Oh, I'm going to go back. I went too far. There we go. There's the frog. There's
Brer Toad or
Brer Toad, Brer Frog.
Which is it?
Not sure. He looks more like a frog to me. I'm thinking he's a frog. What do you guys think? Is he a frog?
A gentle
or a toad?
Touchdown.
Here we go. A little splash. Going through the briar patch. Got splashed by water just now because of the log coming down from the hill. And
how are they actually going to make that look like a tree?
I don't know, because that's
a lot of
work. Yeah, because basically that's what I've heard. Here comes another one, splash. They're changing the mountain because that was one of the big deals. Was there's no mountains in Louisiana, down at the bayou. You're in the bayou. There's no mountains there. But I heard that based on the concept art, that with the Tiana changeover, they're changing this to a banyan tree. If that's the case, I mean, there's a ton of work to do here.
Like what?
Like, would you then splash down through the tree?
Yeah, that's what you would do. You would splash down through the tree into the bayou.
The average person doesn't know what a banyan tree is. Everyone knows what a mountain is.
We will educate them on banyan trees someday.
I don't even know what a banyan tree is.
Yes, you do. You've seen a banyan tree.
Yes, at Cypress Gardens. Which is Cypress Gardens closed? It closed, right?
It's part of Legoland, though.
The big tree in Legoland.
There's a big tree at Legoland, which used to be Cypress Gardens. It's a banyan tree. It grows around like this, and the branches actually come down and basically root themselves into the ground. Almost makes like this big canopy tunnel type thing. So,
the branches become new trunks.
Yeah. So let's see. Steve is mentioning here that, Trent and Jenny from Disney DNA say there are only 2 elevations in Louisiana that can even be considered hills.
Oh, and you can see Japan from there.
Oh, watch this guy coming down on the left here, left side. There they go, down through the flume there. So they're supposed to turn into a banyan tree, which actually leads me to a slightly other disappointing thing about this whole changeover.
There's only going to be 2 mountains.
Right. What's going to happen with the 3 mountains of Magic Kingdom? One of them is going to go away. It's going to become a banyan tree. So now we're not going to have 3 mountains of Magic Kingdom. It's just going to be the 2 mountains of Magic Kingdom. So
people count Seven Dwarfs Mine Train as an honorary mountain.
Yeah,
sort of,
they might change it. Maybe they'll change the name to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train Mountain.
I doubt that. But have they been talking about changing Big Thunder Mountain too?
I don't know. That's a good question. Is this going to end up being a wholesale change of Frontierland? Is it going to change? Oh, I know.
Oh, come on.
You know what, Tina? I know Ed's going to be upset because my wife was just saying something about they're probably going to get rid of the shooting gallery because of the guns. And
Second
I
Amendment
know Ed loves the shooting gallery. And
Second Amendment rights, anyone?
in Frontierland. Oh, jeez. Now we're getting into politics. Okay.
I'm sorry, that's not politics.
I know it's
our founding fathers very clearly said that this is a right we should have.
That's true.
Country Bears. Oh yeah, people are going to be upset if they change all of Frontierland, which remembers the hard facts that America was built on.
T9, I think they've got to change. I'm sorry. This video is split into 2 parts here. Just give me 1 second.
We don't need to watch the whole video.
Oh, we got to watch the last part.
It's already 10.
You can't do Splash Mountain without seeing the last part. Am I right or am I right? Am I right? Right. He's walking away. You got to help me sing the songs at the end.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I've been waiting for that.
Anyway, T9, they're probably they got to change the name. And they got to. I mean, you can't call it Splash Mountain when it's not a mountain. I mean, Louisiana doesn't really have any mountains. I'm going to guess they're going to have to change the name as well, to Tiana's something. I don't know what. And I'm sure, Ed will be saddened by. My computer's starting to glitch a little again here. About taking away, if they do, the shooting gallery in Frontierland. Okay, now this is the fun part here. This always gets people off guard when they've never ridden this before. You can't really see it here, but it's the double dip drop. It's like going on. And that's what I love about this ride, though. It's a dark ride. It's got great characters. It's got great music. It's themed superbly. And it's like a roller coaster. And it's a water slide, all rolled into one fun ride. So oh, here we go into the laughing place. Everybody's got a laughing place, the laughing place. Go home. And I love the way the water, they've got the water tossing up like that, up and down water fountains, and they've got the ones going across the thing. We're getting close to the drop, Marcus. Watch out. Brer Fox is coming to get Brer Rabbit. And there he is. He's finally caught him. But if you remember, and again, the kids don't need to know that this came from Song of the South or whatever, but if you do remember the movie, Brer Rabbit actually pulled, this is one of his little tricks that he pulls on Brer Fox. And he keeps saying, do whatever you want to me, but just don't throw me in that briar patch. please don't throw me in the briar patch. And he's keep going on and on about, you can, the fox is saying he's going to skin him. He's going to cook him. He's going to do all this stuff to him. You go, oh, that's fine. But please don't throw me in that briar patch. And of course, he's from the briar patch. So, he's okay with that. And he tricks the fox into doing that. And here we are getting thrown into the briar patch right now. There's the Cinderella Castle. And into the water. Yes, we got wet, which I would fully expect to happen on Splash Mountain, because that's what it's all and there I am. I'm taking my hand and doing this, or wiping. You can see my arm hair there for a split second as I'm wiping the case. It's a waterproof case, but it still gets wet, and you have to wipe it as best as you can while you're doing the ride. There's another one coming down through. But yeah, I've got to get this posted onto our YouTube channel. This is just the raw video. Yeah, I stitch it together and try and get this thing on our YouTube channel as one of the additional videos to put out there, especially now, with the news about it going away. Yeah, this part gets me right here. If you're sitting, and I wasn't in this particular case, mainly because I had the camera. But if you're sitting on that right side of the log and the logs are backed up at that point, you end up parked at that waterfall, and you get soaked. It's really bad. And here we go. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. And the reason I'm not playing the music here as well, I don't want this to get kicked off of Facebook, because their song recognition stuff kicks in and they say, broadcast over. Sometimes you can get away with it if you post something that says, we do not own the rights to this music, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, zippity-yay. My, oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine heading our way. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Excuse me. Mr. Bluebird's on my shoulder. It is the truth. It's actual. Everything is satisfactual. I love that word, satisfactual. That is a cool word. So we'll get one last look here at Brer Rabbit. And then I'm going to see if I can convince Marcus to jump back on here for just a moment so that you can hear us sing a couple of quick verses of some of those favorite songs. There we go. So I'm going to see if I can get him, if I can lull him back into the show here for just the last few minutes, sing a couple of quick songs. Excuse me. And then, of course, close it out. So we're ready, Marcus. Come on. We're going to finish this up now. Sing a couple of quick verses. I'm going to go ahead and
Finally.
I'll just skip ahead here where you can see us jumping off the ride. There we go.
They don't care. No one cares.
No. There we go. This is, and we'll just pause it right there. Yeah, that is the picture that you saw in our picture slideshow. You can't really see Jack there because he's covered up, but you saw him in the other picture, and that pretty much is that as far as that goes. So, okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and turn that off. We're going to go ahead and knock that out of here. Get rid of that. And we are going to bring up our music. Here we go. Okay. So we're going to finish up with a couple of quick songs from Song of the South / excuse me, Splash Mountain. I do need another drink. Gaston, because I can't sing. I'm losing my voice. Which one do you want to do first? You want to do this one? Or do you want to do this one? Let's do this one. Okay. Ha 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 ho ho ho. Boy, are we in luck. We're visiting our laughing place. Yuck, 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 ho ho ho. Join in anytime. Everybody's got a laughing place to go, ho, ho. Take your frown, turn it upside down, and you'll find yours, so we know, ho, ho. Honey and rainbows on our way. We laugh because their work is play. That was a little bad. Boy, are we in luck. We're visiting our laughing place. Yuck, 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 ho, ho, ho. Everybody's got a laughing place to go, ho, ho. Take a smile where a while. You'll find yours, we know, ho, ho. Honey and rainbows on our way.
Take that frown, turn it upside down, and soon you'll find you're here to stay. Everybody's got a laughing place to go, ho, ho. Come on in, give us all a grin, and you'll find yours, I know, ho, ho. Laughing is how we spend our days. Plenty of fun is what we make. Boy, are we in luck. We're visiting our laughing place. Yuck, 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 ho, ho. Everybody's got a laughing place to go, ho, ho. We found one and it's filled with fun, and you'll find yours, we know, ho, ho. I think that's good. What do you think? Was that good? Was that a good rendition? Okay. We're going to finish you up here before we do our final closing song. We're going to finish you up here. Well, I mean, we did do Zippity Doo Dah a little bit. Zippity Doo Dah, Zippity Day. That song will stick in your head almost as bad as It's a Small World. But it's good.
But it's good. Yeah. I mean, we've been all day long. I think we've either been humming or singing Zippity Doo Dah.
No, you've probably been doing
in our heads out loud.
You've been doing Zippity Doo Dah.
But it's a great song. I love that song.
I've been doing this.
Anthony says it's well done. We did a good job.
You've been doing Zippity Doo Dah. I've been doing this.
Okay. We're going to finish up with How Do You Do? Now let's go down to, we'll go down until we get, how far you want to go? You want to go down there?
I don't know. I could go do the whole thing.
You could do the whole thing? It's pretty long.
It's just that timeless, though.
It's very long. If I get screwed up here, you're going to have to finish it up for me. Okay.
Oh, I'll finish it.
Okay. So we made do the whole. Ed. Yeah. Unfortunately, Ed, we were bringing up, and these are just rumor type things. You know how so many.
If they're changing this, they're going to change this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, we're thinking if they're changing, to Tiana's place,
Whatever.
movie, basically the Frog, Prince and the Frog,
Princess and the Frog,
Princess and the Frog, that they Prince and the Frog, that they might,
the Princess Frog.
Who knows? I mean, all things are up for who knows what at this point. Maybe Frontierland won't be Frontierland anymore, but we have heard tell of some people saying they don't like the guns.
Nobody likes guns anymore. What's that all about?
I mean, they're play guns. Come on, you're a little gun thing. And we heard, I know that you love the guns at Frontierland, but we've heard things that they might take it away. Colin says he's good night, stay safe, and see you real soon.
You know what? Nobody's going to
Colin.
bother staying around for the actual closing song, and I don't even care if we do the actual closing song. I think we could just end with this.
We might do that. This will be a complete deviation from our normal show ending.
This was already a deviation from the normal show.
We're going to finish it up instead of with, MICKEYMOUSE. We are going to finish up with How Do You Do?
Because this show is constantly changing.
Yes, right. We're just like Disneyland, like Walt said.
It's going to constantly be changing. It's never going to be finished, but we're going to hold on to the past.
There you go.
And the hard facts that created America.
And the hard facts that created this here show. Okay, you ready? me. 1, 2, 3. How do you do? Mighty pleasant greeting. How do you do? Say it when you're meeting. How do you do? With that ground repeating, pretty good show as you're born. What goes up is sure to come down. A penny lost. What?
You're messing me up.
Okay. What goes up is sure to come down. A penny lost is a penny found. How do you do when you howdy back? A little bit of this and a little bit of that. How do you do? Do 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 do.
Fine, how are you?
Do 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 do. How you come on? Do 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 do.
Pretty good, shows your bone. Stop jumping around, you'll run out of breath. Why don't you sit back and calm yourself? You can carry on now if you must. We'll do what we like, 'cause that suits us. How do you do? Mighty pleasant greeting. Pretty good, show us your bone. Pretty good, show us your bone. How do you do? Mighty pleasant greeting. How do you do? Say it when you're meeting. How do you do? With everyone repeating. Pretty good, show us your bone. The weather is good, the fishing is fine. Oh, what do we do with all of our time? Well, we sit and we think and we wiggle our toes. That's what you ask us. That's what we know. Pretty good, show us your bone. Pretty good, show us your bone. How do you do? Do do, fine. How are you? Do 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 do. How you come on? Do 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 do. Pretty good, shows your bone. Pretty good, shows your bone. A pretty good, shows your bone. You know what? I think we're good. You think we're good? Yeah, we can end right there. We don't have to do the Brer Rabbit parts. Okay, gang. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to be singing that all night now. That is such a great song. We love it. Pretty good, shows your bone. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. Like I said, tonight's show was definitely a little different, but that's what we are. We're all about being a little different and pushing the envelope some nights and talking about things maybe just like post serials, just a little bit better than the rest.
Yes, post serials, the old commercials, just a little bit better than the rest. That was their slogan. Anyway, so yeah, call them had to ship out here. It's 3 a.m, 3:22. I'm sorry, 3:22 for Colin over there. Wow. Anyway, Mary, thank you. Have a good night as well. Ed, we're glad you got to jump on. I hope you enjoyed our little rendition of some of the Splash Mountain singing. Maybe we weren't right on key, but we did our best. And Marcus says he was on key. I wasn't. Good night, T90. Thank you guys for being here. If you want to stay on the show, get over here and keep talking. He's in the background making comments as I'm trying to close out the show. But anyway, we really do love everybody out there. We thank you for watching. We will see you again next Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What's the topic going to be about? Anthony, good night. I don't know. What's the topic going to be about next week? We don't know. It's always something new. It's always a surprise. Sometimes we don't even know what the topic's going to be until showtime. So, yeah, Anthony, we're just winging it here. But tonight, no, we did. My wife did a lot of research. Marcus did a lot of research. I really have to hand it to them for the amount of work they put into tonight's show. And my wife actually, she does, I don't think she's even posted it yet, but she does actually have a blog post on A Mother's Random Thoughts that either has come out or will come out in the next day or so. It's already posted. She's yelling out from the family room. So it's not edited good. See, I haven't gotten the proofread yet. I'm Mr. Proofreader here. So I'll read it tonight, maybe tomorrow. And so if you see any spelling or grammatical errors, that's because I didn't proofread it yet. Ah, my goodness. Our work is never done here, but it's a long post. It's, we sort of scratched the surface with what we talked about tonight, but I loved the input we got back from people. Definitely a serious topic. Not something we usually tackle on our mostly entertainment-based show about Disney, but I do appreciate you guys watching it. Spread the word. I mean, there's so much that's not known about, about Splash Mountain and about Song of the South and how much it meant to Walt Disney and how it was based off of, writings from back in the 1860s, 1870s. So going, basically some very, very fun, entertaining, educational stories that need not be forgotten. So anyway, I think I've, I think I've worn out my welcome. So thanks again. And thank you guys also for sharing this live stream, sharing our YouTube channel. Sounds like we got about 4, maybe 5 additional subscribers just within the last hour or so. Really appreciate that. So take care, stay safe, and have a magical week. And we'll see you again next Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, for another exciting episode of the WDWpov live stream show. Good night, everybody.